All right, it looks like Trump's coming here. Let's see what's going on here.
To be so involved with
Larry Kudlow on the economy, other people
Yeah, there he
on
is.
different issues.
Yeah.
Is that him, I think?
All right, let's see who I can thank real quick before this all gets going. If I can get a few last thank yous and Trump wearing a ridiculous, or walking with a ridiculous hat. Let me say thank you to, I know there's a few people, I'm going to fall behind here. Sylvia De Montini, Christine Kohler, Ringo Huge. Okay, I think that's it. Thanks to all three of you. Here is Trump. Let's see what he has to say. We stream stuff all the time. People are asking, do I ever stream? Yeah, I'm streaming all the time. Just follow the channel, subscribe free, follow on Twitch, whatever. You'll be notified. Let's see what's happening. Are they playing that stupid country song? Let's see.
1984.
They're playing it.
Reagan. So we will see what happens with his speech tonight. We expect he'll go about an hour, but as we mentioned, maybe he'll go a little bit longer because he was a little late to take the stage.
Now, if you're late, you go shorter because people are already exhausted.
Max Miller for Congress. And I think that we're going to pause now and take the former president of the United States there live from the fairgrounds in Lorain County, Wellington, Ohio. Have a good night, everybody.
Dear God. Thanks to Count Shane for the Twitch sub. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is like traumatic. I think we're getting re-traumatized by this nonsense to some degree. I will keep seeing, yeah, the membership counter will keep ticking up. Don't worry about that. Can you imagine? That's commonly the favorite song of rich dudes from Queens. They all love that song. They just can't get enough of it.
Well, thank you. Well, I want to thank Ohio for the incredible turnout.
Ohio.
There's thousands of people trying to get in. And all of the unbelievable, hard-working patriots who are here tonight at the very first rally of the 2022 election. We're going to take back the House. We're going to take back the Senate.
So that's what this is about. Okay.
With your help, we are going to defeat the radical Democrats. And we have no choice. You know that, right? We have no choice. And we're going to elect an amazing slate of proud American First Republicans next year. America First. You never used to hear that expression, did you? You hear it plenty now. After just 5 months, the Biden administration is already a complete and total catastrophe. I told you.
Oh, man.
Crime is surging. Murders are soaring. Police departments are being gutted. Illegal aliens are overrunning their borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Our poor borders, they were so perfect. They were so good. Drug cartels and human traffickers are back in business like they've never been before. They're doing numbers that they've never even thought possible.
Record
And
numbers.
just a few short months ago, drugs were way down. Human trafficking was way down. It was all way down. It was all they had to do is go away for a little while. It was beautiful. But the schools, when you take a look at schools, and you look at all of the things that happen, left-wing indoctrination camps, critical race theory is being forced on our military.
You guys were right.
Gas prices are spiking.
You guys predicted CRT would be brought up. It was brought up within what? We're about a minute in.
Are humiliating our country. Joe Biden is destroying our nation right before our very own eyes. The number one priority for everyone who wants to save America is to pour every single ounce of energy you have into winning a gigantic victory in the midterms and in 2024.
Right.
Together, we will send Joe Biden and the fake news media. There's a lot of people back there. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Does he have no new material?
Do you miss me? They miss me.
Turn the cameras around.
They miss me. I know. They look at their bad ratings and they're saying, we miss this guy. I said it was going to happen. I was waiting for them to endorse me, actually. I know that was a big step, but they're going down the tubes. Their numbers are very bad. But together, we will send Biden and the media and all of the people that are so bad to our country, big tech tyrants, a message they cannot ever censor, cancel, or ignore. We will take back the House, we will take back the Senate, and we will take back America, and we will do it.
Remember, he makes no mention of the fact that they lost all those things because of him. That's not mentioned, but now they're going to take it back.
There is no more dire threat today than the crisis on our southern border, other than perhaps our elections. That's a dire threat, too. That's probably the biggest threat of all, isn't it, huh? What happened in the election, it's a disgrace. But we'll be talking about that, unless you'd rather not have me talk about it. Would you rather talk about it? I had a few. Immediately upon taking office, Joe Biden deliberately and systematically, through his people, because I don't think he did it, dismantled America's border defenses. And
So that's the Biden dementia reference. We predicted that one too. I mean, you guys, I didn't do anything special. You guys said he's going to talk about it, and he did.
laws from every single corner of the globe. They were invited in, and we can't do that. We can't afford it. We can't have it. We can't have people coming out of prisons. We have no idea who they are. Illegal border crossings are now up 976% since just a short few months ago. When I left office, we gave the new administration the most secure southern border our country had ever seen, by far. We ended the ridiculous catch and release. You know what that is? You catch them and you release them into our country, a brilliant policy. And they're back at that now. We ended asylum fraud. We built almost 500 miles of very beautiful, very successful wall that was working. And it would have been, oh, thank you. That's a friend of mine. He's a conductor. What a beautiful sound. By the way, I have to say, just driving over here was a 30-minute drive from the airport. The farms, the houses, the lawns are all beautiful. It looks like you cut your lawns every day. You have no crime, you have no murders, you have no muggings. I said to a couple of the law enforcement people who are phenomenal, by the way, I said,
The hell?
what are the crime stats here? Let me guess. There's not a lot of it. He said, sir, there isn't. But every lawn was so beautiful. Every farm was perfect. The barns.
That sir routine, it's so stupid every time. Like it's like the first time all over again.
On November 3rd, the great state of Ohio in a record number. We won a lot of places that people haven't figured out yet, but actually most of them have. We empowered ICE to do their jobs. We worked to...
You guys noticed that, right? Places people haven't figured out yet, but actually most of them have. Oh, okay. Why'd you mention it even?
cancel sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities take care of many, many criminals. They're very dangerous places. Even in California, they really want sanctuary cities out, but for some reason the politicians don't. Didn't they send out 38 million ballots in California. I wonder what the real vote in California would be. And we crushed the very vicious thugs.
I mean, that's genuinely nuts. That's something, I think Mike Pillow floated that. Trump actually won California. It's like, dude, if you're going to claim you won, don't claim you won California.
And we rapidly threw them the hell out of our country, and we did it by the thousands.
I believe that, jeez.
And once we got the word out, people didn't come. It wasn't really that big a deal. People just didn't come. Once he came in, he said, we want everybody to come in. Oh, that was a disaster. You have, by the way, not the numbers they report. Remember, they're fake news. You have millions of people coming into this country. You have millions of people coming.
My guess is most of the news he's pointing to are right-wing media. Like, is mainstream media even covering this? Does anybody know?
The policy is to make illegal immigration as easy as possible, instituting catch and release, ripping apart our asylum agreements, ordering a stop and, did you see this? A stop order. Any contractors here? Do you ever get a stop?
That was a glitch, I think.
Stop order the world has ever seen. We stopped finishing the wall. We stopped working on the wall. Now they want to finish the wall, and the contractors are saying, how much are you going to pay us? They have to start all over again.
What? We're not doing the wall.
Congratulate those contractors. They're going to make a fortune. They crippled ICE and the Border Patrol. I'll tell you what, Border Patrol, these are incredible people. ICE, they're incredible people. I wouldn't want the job.
ICE.
I wouldn't want it. Most of the people, you have some very tough people in this audience. I can't see anybody that would do that job very well, let me just say. It's a rough job. They run into a pack. They call it a pack. They run into a pack of MS-13 and they start swinging and they start swinging hard. And in the end, they win. They're tough, they're smart, and you know what? They love our country, and somebody has to do that work. For the last 3 months, more than anything that you've ever seen, the illegal alien minors have arrived at our border. These are, in many cases, just wonderful kids. And
right.
They are coming in at levels that we've never seen, and then they're sent around all over this country. All over the country, they're sent.
He's really painting a very clear picture where anybody could understand exactly what he means, right?
Time, they're on suicide watch. So many of these young kids, they're on suicide watch. All because of this stupid policy that you've been watching over the last few months. Kids are on suicide watch. Think of that. Biden has violated his constitutional oath, endangered our safety, and look, he surrendered our really, if you think of it, no matter how you cover it, sovereignty. What he's done to our nation is unthinkable in a short period of time, and I said that was going to happen. I said it was going to happen.
If people need mercy bans, just ask the moderators on Twitch and YouTube. They can start banning people. If you just need mercy bans, we can do it.
The lawless agenda. We have to defund his reckless immigration policies and restore our nation's southern border to where it was.
Uh-oh. Mental illness, sad, but in many cases undiagnosed, in almost all cases certainly untreated.
Did you ever hear the expression that the vote counter is sometimes much more important than the candidate? Did you ever hear that expression?
Uh-oh.
Think about
No.
that. Because
No.
what happened on November 3rd was a disgrace. On the evening of November 3rd,
You lost.
the election was over.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, things started closing down all over.
Will he
In
say
certain
dumps?
states,
Will he
not
say
in other
dumps here?
states. Didn't happen in Ohio, but it happened in certain swing states. And we took a massive victory, they did, into something that should never be allowed. Kamala Harris, your
Kamala,
vice
give me a
president,
break, dude.
only went.
Is it common that former presidents can't correctly say the names of the current president and or vice president? Is that common?
Because I announced that I was going next week, and I am, at the request of Texas Governor Abbott and the Border Patrol. I'm going to the border next week. Oh, if I didn't do that, I don't know if she was ever going to go. I really don't know if that, was she ever going to go? I don't know. The radical left Democrats, open border fanaticism, call it whatever you want, is also contributing to massive crime. Other countries are emptying their prisons into the United States. You know that, right?
Right.
They're opening their prisons. Why should they have these killers, these drug dealers, these traffickers? And they traffic in women, by the way, mostly. They
Like
traffic
Trump,
in
right?
women.
I mean,
Why
that's
should
Trump's
they have
specialty.
them? Why should they feed them? Why should they have to watch them? And they're very dangerous. Let's send them to the United States. We'll put them in the caravans and they'll get in, because nobody even checks who's coming into our country. It's insanity, and it's destroying our country. Destroying our country.
The really crazy thing
They
here
are-
is thinking anything really could have changed that dramatically one way or the other in just a few months. Like that, whatever side you're on, falling for that is really the lie.
Charges for murder and many other things. Gunned down a man in broad daylight, shooting him viciously and violently as he lay in the street 4 times. Recently in Louisiana, great place, an illegal alien who entered the country as an unaccompanied minor under Obama was charged with hacking a woman and their 15-year-old sister into very small pieces with a machete
Pieces.
and stabbing 2 other people.
Dear
to death.
God.
And right here in Ohio, a twice deported fugitive, MS-13 gang member, the worst anywhere in the world. And we've taken out thousands and thousands, and now they want to let him come back. He was charged with murder. He was discovered in Galloway after entering our country for a 3rd time, and bad things happened. And you know, when I came up today, I had so many people, they said, could you do us a favor? What? Could you talk the snake? You remember the snake? I used
They
to
said,
use
"Sir,
it
tell the
on
snake
occasion,
story."
not often. Does anybody want to hear the snake? You want to hear it?
Oh no, not this poem.
The snake. The snake.
This is people who know nothing about literature being read a poem by a guy who knows nothing about literature.
Wasn't meant to be for the border. It was meant to be for other reasons. But this has to be really what's happening to our border. And so many people said, please, please, you're going to Ohio. I don't know the fact that I'm going to Ohio, why they want to talk about the snake.
Well, the story's made up. It makes no sense. It's a totally made up story.
It's because of the borders and because Ohio sees it far better than most, don't you, huh? You understand what's happening? The snake, on her way to work one morning, down the path, along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor...
Sorry. This is so stupid, guys, that I sort of can't take it. But I'll read a couple super chats while he does this. Trump's lies are up 976%. It's disgusting. I say Kamala the same way WWE did. Aloha, David. Do you think this rally may cause more violence? Why is he in Ohio? I guess because of Max. Is he in Ohio because of Max Miller? Is that what's going on? Trump's alliteration is similar to Hitler's. No joke. Yeah, this is all insane, and I'm glad people are pointing it out. Big thank you to Randall Pomeroy, Sylvia De Montini. We do have a 1-day coupon code because this is also disgusting and sad. The coupon code SADTRUMP saves you 70% on my website. That's the number you see above my head. 140 people have taken advantage of it. And part of the reason they're doing it is that this shit is really sad. Listen.
She clutched him to her bosom.
Bosom.
You're
Jeez.
so beautiful, she cried. But if I hadn't brought you in by now, you truly would have died. She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, the snake gave her a vicious bite. Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake, take me in, O tender woman.
Seems like third grade reading level type stuff, like you'd analyze this in third grade.
Cried the woman, and you've bitten me, but why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Shut up, silly woman, said the reptile.
You can tell this is a crowd that really loves poetry.
Snake, before you took me in. It's, it's the way it is.
These are the types of folks who would cheer because they think Trump invented poetry. Like, they think he's brilliant. They're like, that's incredible. This guy just invented, like, the spoken word poetry. It's like, no. He read a poem, guys.
These horrible people, good people are coming in, but horrible, horrible people. Again, remember that term. They're emptying their prisons. And, you know, if you were heading those countries, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and many others, including Middle Eastern countries, by the way, that's how they come out.
No evidence of
Remember the
that.
snake. In the Republican Party, we do not believe that violent criminals should be welcomed into our country with open arms. We believe that they should be promptly deported or put behind bars, and that's what I did during my administration at a level that nobody's ever seen. The radical left Democrats are doing everything possible to put your family in grave danger. I don't know if they're doing it out of naivete or are they doing it because they think it's really good to have all these people coming into our country. But they are putting your family into a very, very bad position, releasing criminal aliens, defunding the police, abolishing cash bail. Look at New York, what's happened to our poor New York. Crime is through the roof.
I would love for Trump to address some of the threats or fear-mongering of his campaign where he said, like, if Biden's president, you'll have to flush 10 to 15 times. Is that happening? If Biden's president, your 401k will be worth nothing. Did that happen? Like, address some of that stuff.
Los Angeles, they have great police forces. They're not allowed to do their job, and now they're all leaving. That's going to be a real problem when they realize we need them to help us, and they're not going to be there any longer. They all try and take away your guns, and that's what they're doing. And if you remember, when I was campaigning against Joe Biden, I said they're going to take away your guns. Your Second Amendment is under siege. And Chicago, which is the single most dangerous city, large scale, has the strongest gun laws in the country. They even say the strongest gun laws in the world. And yet people are being shot by the thousands every year. Worse than Afghanistan. How about that? Worse than Afghanistan, where, by the way, I started
That's
the
pretty
process.
dumb.
All the troops are coming back home. They couldn't stop the press. 21 years is enough, don't we think? 21 years.
Remember that that's not true. Biden, when he got into office, paused everything Trump was doing to review it, and then decided to continue with it. It's Trump's framing of it is a total lie.
By a government that wouldn't last. The only way they last is if we're there. What are we going to say? We'll stay for another 21 years, then we'll stay for another 50. The whole thing is ridiculous. So we're bringing our troops back home from Iraq. We're bringing the troops back home from Afghanistan.
It's funny, Biden is doing this. Trump's just saying he's doing it, I guess.
Thousands of troops we had on the border with Syria. Remember that? We had thousands of troops between Turkey and Syria. I said, wait a minute. This border's been here for 1,000 years plus. We never did anything. Now, why are we doing it? Sir, you can't do it. It'll be war. It'll be war. I said, our troops are in grave danger. You have two armies, and you have our troops in the middle. So I started bringing them home. And then we got down to 54 troops. And I said to one of the generals, who was a good general, he wasn't a woke general. Do you notice the woke generals we have?
Talking about Mark Milley there.
This was a real general. I said, we have 54 men from 5,000. We have 54 men on the border. Are they in danger? Said, sir, you have 54 men between two armies. They don't have a chance.
How many
They go
sirs
to
are we up
target
to?
practice. I said, get him the hell out. And everybody said, what a terrible thing he did. And you know what? That was 3 years ago, and nothing happened. They protect their own borders. Pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing, but you'll never hear that from the fake news. Or many other things that turned out to be right. If you care about the security of your family, if you care about the safety of your community, if you care about law and order, look, law and order in the great state of Ohio.
But I said law and auto, like auto insurance.
People outside, they're like incredible people. They're patriots. They're patriots. One of them came out, and I shouldn't say this, but, you know, look, I met so many, but one of them came out, there's tears in his eyes. This guy hasn't cried in a very long time, but just in meeting because I represent what they want. They want law and they want order. And that's what you want. That's
You
what
guys
this
getting that?
country wants. So you have to deliver massive majorities for Republicans in Congress next year. Have to do it. Right here in Ohio's 16th congressional district, you have the opportunity to elect an incredible patriot to Congress who I know very well. He grew up in this area. Believe it or not, he's not a carpetbagger like so many. A lot of them say, sir, I'm running for Congress. Oh, good. How long have you lived there? Well, actually, I moved there last week.
It's beyond parody now, I mean.
Max Miller. You know Max? Great guy. He loves our country. He loves the people of Ohio. And Max was a trusted aide of mine in the White House. We had great people working for me. We had some real losers, too, by the way. But,
Yeah,
you know,
which he hired.
That happened when I didn't know too many people. You know, in Washington, I was there 17 times in my life.
I thought he was all about hiring the right people.
The United States. So we made a couple, but do I know the people? Do I know the good ones? I know the good ones. But we had some really great people, and Max was one of them. He did a fantastic job. He helped me with North Korea negotiation, and we did so much for Israel and Iraq and the G7, G20. We brought peace to the Middle East if this guy would finish it. But now he's going back to the Iran
Trump brought peace between countries that were not in conflict.
war, more likely. In Congress, Max will be tough on illegal immigration. He will be strong on crime, as strong as you can get. He will stand up to China, and he will protect Ohio jobs just like I did. Remember in Lima, do you remember they were going to close your tank plant? And I was president-elect. I didn't know anything about the tank plant, but I heard through a great gentleman. Did anybody ever hear of a man named Jim Jordan?
You know, I have, yeah. A lot of college
Tremendous
wrestlers,
athletes.
unfortunately, have heard of him as well.
They wanted to wrestle Jim, and they got their ass kicked every time. He hasn't changed, but Jim told me about. Jim's here, by the way, so I'll introduce him in a couple of minutes. But they wanted to close a tank plant, and I went to see it, Lima. I went to see it, and I couldn't believe it. Big, massive plant. The people that worked there were so talented. They have the turrets. I mean, the only thing you know about tanks is Dukakis, right, where he walked with the helmet.
Helmet.
He wouldn't have looked good in this tank either. But, you know, I see these tanks, and I said to the guys, who's going to make these? This is the only place in the...
It's actually very interesting because the crowd is extremely gullible in that they follow Trump wherever he goes and cheer or boo anything. But they also are kind of bored. Like, they also don't really care. It's more the idea of being here. That now that it started, many of them seem kind of checked out.
And I ended that order. It was a stupid order. I ended it. And we now have that plant working overtime, making tanks and tanks and tanks.
What's
And
this
if we
we?
didn't, I mean, you wouldn't have a tank. And believe it or not, tanks are very important. Max's opponent is a guy named Anthony Gonzalez, who's bad news. He's a grandstanding rhino, not respected in D.C., who voted for the unhinged, unconstitutional, illegal impeachment witch hunt, the witch hunt. You know, this guy used to call me, and my people in the office would say, do you know somebody named Gonzalez? I said, no. He's a congressman from Ohio. And I said, so what? Well, tell me about him. What's
They
his story?
said,
He
sir.
wants to go to Ohio in Air Force One because I was coming to Ohio. I came to Ohio a lot, okay? I feel very comfortable. I used to work in Ohio. I used to work in Cincinnati, Ohio. I love it. The Queen City, Cincinnati. But he wanted to know if he could fly on Air Force One. You know, with all the people in Congress, I think he was just about the only guy ever. He heard I was going to Ohio. Could he fly back and forth in Air Force One? I said, I don't know. Who's the guy? Tell me about him. And I didn't hear much good. But I said, what the hell? He's asking. So let him ride. You know, it holds like 400 people. So you put a guy in a seat, right? And
Wow.
I didn't get to know him too well, but I'd see him on the plane, and then I'd see him go back, and then I'd be going 3 months later, and he'd call again. Could I go to Ohio on Air Force One? I'd put him on the plane.
Is any story where Trump says "sir" a story that never happened? Is that the signal?
He was impeaching me. I don't know. That's not the reason I'm doing this, but I just thought it's a character trait that was not so good. Not so good. Now, he's a sellout, he's a fake Republican, and a disgrace to your state. I will tell you that. And he's not the candidate that you want representing the Republican Party. He's the candidate of Liz Cheney. That's another beauty. Liz Cheney. Mitt Romney. Do you notice? You notice? The Democrats have horrible policy, right? Defund the police, open borders, sanctuary cities, all of the cancel culture. Let's cancel out George Washington. You see that? They're after George Washington now.
Right.
I said, I did say 2 years ago, they may go there. If you're not strong, they're going to go there. But he's a candidate. He likes Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden. Earlier this year, Gonzalez voted to grant amnesty to illegal aliens, okay? I thought we were trying to go the opposite way so that we can have our country back and have our borders back. He voted to keep our troops down in Syria.
So this is like a trial balloon. This is basically, can Trump succeed in pushing, an it's not even really anti-Trump, not pro-Trump enough Congressman Republican out. And if this works, then this is what we're going to see from now until 2022. There's an exploratory vibes, Green Man. Exactly right.
Hanging in there, you know? Every single Republican needs to vote him out of office and nominate and vote for a really great guy, Max Miller, a passion. He's got a passion for this country like you wouldn't believe. Max, come on up and say hello. This is your territory, Max.
Right.
Max Miller.
Now, even pre-COVID, Trump didn't like touching people. So let's see what happens here. Okay, a little slap on the back there.
Let's hear it for the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
I don't know whose diction is worse, Trump's or this guy.
That's right. And come 2024, we're going to get him elected for the third time. That's right. This guy. There is no greater fighter that this country has ever had, and I have never had a greater role model than President Donald J. Trump, period, bar none. I need all of your help to get Rhino, Turncoat Tony out of office and to help put an America First conservative into office for the 16th district.
I have to tell you, in a sense, Republicans fighting Republicans, if Trump's energy goes to that, it's sort of good. But obviously that'll change as we get closer to the actual midterm.
Max, great guy. I can tell you he's a great guy. Also with us, another outstanding candidate for Congress. He's right now, I just saw a poll. Max is doing great, and he's doing great. And his race is very soon. He's filling his seat. And I think he's going to win. He's going to win big. I see there's like 12 candidates, and we endorsed him a couple of weeks ago, and now he's leading by a lot. And he's a wonderful man. I've known him for a long time. Mike, Kerry. Mike, where are you, Mike? Where's Mike? Come here, Mike. Come here. Don't keep them long, Mike, but say hello. So August 3rd, right, Mike? August 3rd you're running, right? So that's sooner than Max. Mike, you got to win, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank all of you. With his endorsement, the America First agenda, we are now leading by double digits. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank all of you, and God bless America.
Man, these guys just don't seem to be all there. Is it just me who's seeing that? What do you think?
Doing this, and it's going to be a big winner. Both of these people. This is what we need. We're also thrilled to be joined by a person who's actually loved. You don't necessarily hear that. But she's loved and respected, and she's tough and smart and kind.
By who?
And kind. And she's got such great common sense. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yikes.
Where is she?
She left.
She's a fighter. She's a fighter. And another one, we just mentioned his name, but I'll mention it again. Come up here, Jim Jordan. Come up. Jim Jordan.
This should be a rare treat.
This guy, you are so lucky to have him in Ohio. That's all I can say.
Trump and Jim Jordan may actually wrestle right now, just to show how everything's on the up and up.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. They've already heard from me. They want to hear from you. Mostly what they want is for you to run in 2024 and go back to the White House. Thank you all very much.
This has like a sort of the King's Court, sort of like Saudi royal family welcoming line where everybody just gets their shot at sucking up to Trump to then later get something, you know?
Hell, they said, you got to see this guy working out. You know, they work out. They're not in good shape. They never were. They were never athletes or anything. And he was a champion, NCAA champ. He was one of the greats.
NCAA.
He works out, and they say, you wouldn't believe this guy. He burns out the machines. The machines are catching. They're like burning out, they're smoking. But
Yep.
you know, the reason he...
When Jim Jordan weightlifts, the machines combust and they've got to call in the firefighters. Exactly. Trump's super impressed with Jim Jordan's physique.
Me, I'd rather wear a jacket. Most of you, I think, would rather wear a jacket. But he's a great person. He's tough and he's smart and he's
Delusional. Yeah.
Incredible. So thank you both. And Marjorie, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you. North Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, who's been terrific. Where's Kristi? Thank you, Kristi. Doing a great job.
The heroes that these people have is concerning.
2 years ago, she said, sir, do you think we could have fireworks at the
Never happened, sir.
those magnificent faces? I love those faces. Do you think my face will ever be that or not? They all said, he wants it. No, let's leave it the way it is. But she called, could we have fireworks, right? And I said, what's the problem? They won't approve it, the Democrats. They wouldn't approve for years and years and years. I said, is there anything that can burn? No. You know, stone. I said, what's the problem? They just won't give it. So we gave it, and we had a night to remember, right? Remember that? That was something.
Perfect evening.
And the Democrats just announced that they're canceling it for the people of South Dakota. They're canceling it. I don't know, you know. They're canceling it. So you have some other alternatives, but nothing could be like those nights, right? Nothing could be like those nights. It was so beautiful.
Beautiful
It
evening.
was so beautiful. And they will not cancel that particular slab that is so beautiful, so incredible. You know, they were talking about, let's take it down. No, they're not going to. They were talking about Thomas Jefferson. They want to take it down. We stop that. We stop that. But these people, they're sickos. There's no question about it. There's a lot of sickness there. So, Christy, thank you very much for being here.
I'll
we
say.
Appreciate it. And we'll get the fireworks back. We'll get those fireworks back. Okay? Great Mount Rushmore. County Commissioners, Michelle Hung and David Moore, and my friend JJ and Jan Cafaro. Great people. They're great. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, JJ, for being here. Thank you.
Some high-risk reading going on.
Our movement achieved more than anyone thought possible. There's never been anything like it. We passed record-setting tax cuts, massive regulation cuts, which I think were even more important than tax cuts in terms of the economy. That's what gave us that incredible base that they're destroying slowly, but it was so strong. It has some momentum. Regulation cuts, again, nobody's ever seen anything, and achieved American energy independence, which by next month will be gone.
I still don't actually know what he means when he says that. I've not figured out what he means by that.
We ended
I know it's a lie. What I'm saying is I'm just not understanding all of the ways in which it's a lie.
partnership would have destroyed your businesses in Ohio and elsewhere.
He doesn't know either.
NAFTA catastrophe
Fair,
with the
fair.
brand new and unbelievably successful. You know why I knew it was good? Because Canada didn't want it. Canada didn't want it. Mexico didn't want it either. President of Mexico, by the way, great person, great man, great guy, doing a good job. But we did the USMCA, defending Ohio steelworkers and standing up to China like never before. You wouldn't have a steel industry if I didn't do what we did. You would not have. They were dumping steel all over the place.
Huge dumps of steel.
Including making them pay tens of billions of dollars for the privilege of doing business in the USA. They have to pay they never gave us 10 cents. And now they're paying tens of billions, but Biden wants to end that. You want to see China take off? Take off those tariffs, okay? Take off the taxes that we charge them. When the virus arrived,
Man, he still doesn't get the American companies pay the tariffs. It's crazy.
and they said it would take 3 years to 5 years. We got it done in less than 9 months. Record time. And we launched the fastest economic recovery anyone has ever seen. We really built the economy twice, if you think about it. We built it twice. We set Joe Biden up so beautifully. All he had to do is go to the beach, Joe. Go to the beach. Would have been so good. Instead, Biden is going to drive our economy and our country into ruin. Biden canceled the American Keystone.
Trump's going to have a toilet brought up and he's going to flush it for us just so we can see how bad indoor plumbing's gotten under Joe Biden.
But he approved the Russian pipeline to Europe. That's great. Remember they said, oh, Trump isn't tough on Russia. Really? I stopped the pipeline to Europe. I sanctioned them all over the place. And I had a good relationship with Putin, but that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. You know, that's not bad. View that as good. And frankly, I had a great relationship also with President Xi of China until we got hit with the virus, and then I couldn't look at him quite the same way, right? You can understand that. And we made a great trade deal that's helping the manufacturers and the farmers like never before. Farmers have never done better because China is living up to that trade deal because they really sort of have to. It's a tough deal.
Crowd on the
We got
edge of
it
their
done,
seat.
and a lot of people are benefiting. And if you look at North Korea, right? Kim Jong-un, all of a sudden he's talking not nice, and he was talking very nice. I got along with him. I get along with everybody eventually. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer. But, you know, getting along with these people, that's a good thing. Remember, President Obama said we're going to war with North Korea. He said it's virtually inevitable. We didn't go to war with North Korea. We didn't go to war. And we don't want to go to war with North Korea. 9,000 miles away. We didn't want to go.
He's acting like he's still in charge of anything. It's really weird.
Him, even to this day, is a very good relationship. And that is a good thing. And there are some I don't like, too. Some of them that take advantage of us that you wouldn't even think. Canada was very tough on the United States in trade for a long time until we came along. Other countries in Europe, you take a look at what they do. We protect them militarily. but they're very, very tough on us on trade. How many Chevrolets are sold in Berlin? I asked. And they said, oh, we don't believe any. I said, that's exactly right. No.
Yeah, that has more to do with the fact that Germany's got some pretty good cars. It's a very weird. Yeah, anyway, I'm not even going to get into that.
Oil and gas, devastate and close large numbers of countries. It's trillions of dollars of damage is going to be done. I ended it, and I couldn't believe it. I said, this is going to be a tough day. And because it's such a nice name. The Paris Environmental Accord. How nice is that, right? And I ended it. I said, I'm going to get killed. Everybody loved it when I ended it. Everybody loved it. But we have to pay trillions. He put us immediately back without even negotiating, just the same horrible deal. You know, China doesn't kick in for many years. Russia doesn't kick in.
Yeah, it's like there are trade considerations, but, you know, how many Germans are sitting around going, you know, we've got Volkswagen, we've got BMW, we've got Mercedes, we have all these great, we need like a Chevy. I really want to buy a Chevy, bring Chevys over. On the other hand, how many Americans are saying, you know, I don't know, I went to the Chevy dealership, I didn't see something that was that great. I went to BMW and I'm liking it. That's 90% of it.
And we rebuilt our military, and we did so much. We did so much. Even right to try. I always mention, you know, many people are being saved with right to try. The FDA is slow as hell. I wouldn't say they love me too much. I push them very hard. But now if people are...
All right, guys, I'm at my limit. I am on a schedule. I've got to go to a dinner. Trump started over an hour late. So it's been great to be with you guys to the extent that I was able to be. Feel free to watch the rambling on your own or not also.